how a double entry system of accounting works, to learn how to post transactions to the ledgers, and to understand and prepare a trial balance. So then, yeah, then the other page. You may move to next page, please. So then we have already seen, but it's good to recall what is bookkeeping. So it is the process of recording and keeping track of all an organization's financial transactions. So in other words, is to know the inflows and outflows of any institution or organization, and is done in double entry. So there's a debit and the credit. And then what is the work of accounting? What is accounting? It is accounting is the process of classifying, preparing, and analyzing financial reports based on the transactions recorded through the bookkeeping process. So as I call you against the importance of keeping all receipts, cash sales, invoices. So all documents that help to provide the information that will help in the recording in the books. And then also I want to see what is the role of the accountant. So is to prepare the 3 key financial statements, which is the balance sheet that is the summary of all the accounts, being it cash, bank, debts, liabilities, all this information, and then also the income statement. So the income, to see what is the running of the institution, and then the cash flow, the income and the expenses for a period of time. It can be in a month, can be a few months, every 6 months. It depends how an organization is prepared or equipped for. And then bookkeeping refers to the records kept of an organization's financial transaction. So as I said before, it is based on all the information of the receipts, but then also what you record in the day-to-day basis or weekly. It depends what is the income movement and the expense movement. So as it says down, it is a result of the inflow and outflow of funds from an organization. So now today we are going to look a bit to understand what is a cash book, or also called a petty cash. So I'm going to share with you some examples of these. So as you may see in your screen, I have now in the screen the simple cash book format, which we have to it can also that first be done in the exercise book. There are books appropriate for this work that was in the past. We didn't have the computer, so everything was written by hand. So that it is a bit in remembering those times that the simple cash book comes from, and then also you can do it in the computer, because all programs are based on Excel. I think all of you know about it. So then, of course, on top you put the type of the book that you are using. Then you have on your left-hand side the date, then the description, what is happening, then income, and expense. Sometimes you just put in or out, but is income and expense, and then balance. So let us say that maybe your school or your institution began the activity in January this year. So of course there was a maybe from the user school. Let's put it this way. So we started with 0. So as the students came, they had to pay school fees. So on the 2nd of January, they came to your office or to the accountant, and then they paid 20,000. So 20,000 goes into income, and immediately the balance has to show that you have in your cash at hand 20,000 rands. Then on the 3rd of January, you bought some stationery because not all the students came equipped with it. So you spent 1,000 rands. So it goes to the line of expenditure, and then it deducts the balance. So you had 20, then you spent 1,000. It came to 19,000. And then on the 10th, so you bought something for maybe they didn't have maybe books or didn't have pens or pencils, exercise books. So you bought something more, and then you spent 5,000 rands. Again, it goes under expense, and it diminishes the balance from 19, now comes to 14. Maybe in your school also you have a kind of incoming generating income. So maybe in the free time, someone is making rosaries. So then you sold, let us say, 10 rosaries or under, I don't know. Then you got 2,000 in your income. So then this 2,000 is going to be added to the 14,000, and it becomes now a balance of 16,000. Then, of course, maybe someone got sick, then you have to go to the hospital for treatment. You spent another 1,000. So 16, there's a mistake, you see. So also the accountants make mistakes. So 16 minus 1, it comes not to 13, but to 15,000. See, so that is why it is important that from time to time you go back and you verify if the accounts are correct. If not, then there will be a problem. So then you at the end of the month you have to pay salaries amounting to 10,000. So it didn't come to 3, but it came to 5,000. So if there's one mistake and you don't correct at the time, so then it is going to bring an error in your financial report. That's why it is important that at least weekly, at least once a week, you is able to go to the books and to see if everything is okay. Or very often the reconciliation also is done at the end of the month. So everything is in the error. I think it was good that we started like this. Now, are you understanding the methodology of the simple cash book? Are you following? Okay, so then let us say that at the end of January, we close with a balance of 5,000. So after the income of 22,000 and the expense of 18. So then we come to a balance of 5,000. So this is 5,000 is going to be the opening balance for the following month, which is January. Now in January, maybe some students didn't pay all the school fees. So then, as at the beginning it was 20. This time it was they paid. The income is 30. So 30 plus 5, it comes to 35 as a balance. And then again, maybe also the students didn't have, or some stationery was needed, so there was expense of 3,000. So it comes to 32 as a balance. Then there was an expense of 2,000 in telephone. Usually now it's common that we use the voice, telephone, internet, because everything is done connected with the telecommunications. So we put it as one voice, Or so if you want to keep separated, it works the same. But we put together as we do in our institution. So then the balance comes to 30,000. Then you spend petrol of 1,500. Now is 28,500, not mistaken. 8,930, yes. So and then the balance of at the end of February, it will be 28,500. And this, okay, it should be down here. Okay. It's the proper. And then this is again, as exercised before, this is going to be the opening balance for the month of March. So I think it's clear up to here. Is it clear? Okay, so let us go now to another example of another exercise that is similar to this one. So that is the basic one. Now, for example, now we have a cash book of receipts and also a cash book of payments. So this is also to understand the exercise. For example, we saw that in January we had an income of 20,000. So instead of putting student by student, maybe you register in the paper in a part. So in the book you put, for example, we have 10 students. So you put 1 to 10. So the amount received for school fees. So again, there is the month it should appear here, January. And then, so then, no, not here. So then the date, then the balance brought forward. As you saw, that there was no balance brought forward at the beginning of January 2023, but there was an income of 20,000 for school fees. So we write here 20,000. Then let us say that on the 2nd of January 23, so there was maybe let's put receipt number 11. So also it is important, for example, in view of auditing, that the receipts be numbered. So let us you begin 1, then you go on, so that when the auditor comes to check your books, it will be easy to go to the file and find where this receipt or invoice is, or cash sale, so that it helps to minimize the work and also the fee costing, because if it is 1 day, it charges a certain amount, but if it is 2, 3, or 4 days, the amount will increase. So let us say that then on the first you bought some exercise books. Yes, there is received. Not to bought. So let us say you received a donation from an organization. So they gave you, let us say, 10,000 rands. So it is a receiving. So now from 20 it comes to 30. So then let us say on the 5th of January 2023, maybe other students brought in more money because they were not able to pay at the beginning of. So let us say there was another amount of 5,000. And then so you go on in this way, and then at the end you sum. So it gives you 35,000 as income. So this is the cash. So the year in this book, you only register what is your incomes at in the community or in the school or in an organization, and then on the other book you go and you write only the expenses. Now the cash book applies both to cash or even the bank. But maybe to make the difference, you can put bank cash book. Now, I don't know, for example, then here is a cash book payment. Now, if you want to write bank, you go on top here in this line on top, and you write bank there, and then you press enter, and it will appear automatically on top of the book. So it says bank cash book payments. Now, since you, of course, if you're an institution or a school or your community, there are bills to be paid. Let's say for water, so you pay, of course, there's a date or the same. There's a, now here, I think in South Africa now they don't issue any more checks. Now it is online banking. So if it was a check, you are supposed to mention the number of the check, but you just put online banking. So you just mention the what it is, and then to the payee, which is a municipality, then 5,000 rands. If it is electricity, you write Eskom and 10,000 rands. If it is security, I put the names that I know. Let us say Sun Security, and then you put, let's say, 1,000 rands per month. So then petrol, you spent, let us say 2,000. No, not petrol. Here you put maybe engine. So you maybe pay 2,000 rands. Then you have workers. You need to pay the insurance. So the out of the basic salary, there is a deduction of the insurance, of the medical aid, and pension fund. So that here, insurance maybe let us put Discovery. I don't know the name of the company. Let us say that you pay 10,000 rands for your workers. So the same at the end of the month, you will sum the amounts, and it has to then the total has to reflect what was the total expenses of that month. Yeah, yeah. So this 28,000, if not mistaken. Now, okay, then the other parts we come a bit late, because now I think it is bad. It is good that we understand the basics of the cash book, the petty cash, the small things, and the cash book where we registered all the income. Then other page of the book that we register all the expenses. Now in this case, I just put the bank, but also you can have a cash book for payments in cash, because not everything is done. Not all the payments are done by bank. Yeah. Now another one. I hope you are following my. Now there's another book with. Journal voucher. So you give so you have to give also numbers to this journal voucher, and then you know that in double enter there is a debit account and a credit account. So this exercise helps us to understand before from today we are going through this with exercise. Then next session we shall deal a bit also with the T based on this one, so that will become clear how it works. So because double entry means that there is a income in one side, expense on the other one, or there's a decrease in a certain area, in certain voice, and then there's an increase on the other. Yeah. So, for example, we'll go for the voucher number 1. So, for example, we have, let us say, now here. So in the computer, so you to add, you go to the top where is the function section. You click there, and then it immediately corrects down. It inserts down there. Water that you, so there's a bill for water. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah. I thought I done it. Sorry. This yes. Okay. Not everything works well. So this account you call water, the water bill, and you know that when the bill comes, you pay straight away. So then in the line down, you write a liability. So it is, you dealt a bit in the last session. So then, for example, you spent, let us say, 10,000 rands. So you debited the bill, and there is a credit of 10,000, the same. So though you didn't pay, but it appears, so you got an invoice, so that the debt has been shown to the company, but you have, and yours is liability because you haven't yet paid it. But then once it pays, so then but then here in this line down here, you see that is a transfer. Here it is you say that is paid water bill because you haven't yet paid. So you have to justify what is happening here and paid water bill. And then if you come to the next one is voucher 2, so that we go and so you enumerate them, you give a number. So let us say it is electricity. So once again, it is similar to the previous one. So then you put here in as the debit electricity invoice, and down. Okay. And down you pay liability account as before, and then you put in debit. That's it, 5,000 rands. And credit 5,000 rands. So then, as happened in before, also here you have to mention that is unpaid electricity bill, because you will see the invoice, but you haven't yet. So maybe I'm going to pay. For example, you receive last let's say on Saturday, so you didn't have a chance, and you are paying today. So it has to appear as a liability in your account. Then on number 3, maybe there's your building. Let's put that is you bought stationery. If I make mistakes, forgive me because on the spelling. So here, for example, you bought stationery and you spent 1,500 rands. Where did I place? No, I see. I made a mistake. Number 3 should appear stationery. So 2,000 rands. And here, maybe you paid by with cash. So you put here petty cash. So then there's a credit of 2,000 rands. So it means that the stationery, of course, in your account, because so in the shop is just where you bought, there's a debit, yeah, and then to you there's a credit bit because you paid. Another exercise, you put telephone with internet. Internet. So maybe you pay again. So you put here telephone, and here you write, and in the one down you write either cash or bank according to the way you pay. Let us not let's put now bank. So then telephone maybe paid 1,500. So in the bank has to be appear a credit of 1,500. Are you understanding the methodology?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Of course, then one thing I forgot in the past. Yeah, in the let us say stationery, and then where it is so where it is a big account for, you have to say total paid for stationery. Okay. As now in this one, since it was a telephone, so you have to put the total paid for telephone. Okay, number 5. That is, let us say, transport. So transport, it means that you put petrol, and for example, so you spent money, so you paid. It was a bit of the just put 1,000 rands, and here you write either cash or just put online banking. Maybe no, you cannot online banking. You can do, but let us put not to complicate now. Credit card, yeah, or yeah, you can put the credit card. Yeah, thank you. So then you have on this line here, then you put amount or total amount paid for Petro. Let us some more just for us to understand. Then for them that medical expenses. Then on account so you put there, no. Put medical or and then on the other one you mentioned if you pay cash or bank, maybe for the maybe this one you can put online banking, because if you are if the accountant or the hospital or the clinic trusts you, or even if of course maybe you can pay a certain percentage now. So then of course, for example, let us say that the amount was 10,000, but you paid only 5,000 rands. So that because you have enough money in the bank account, so you pay only 5,000, and then you credit 5,000. So then on here on the account and down, then you mentioned that 50%. No, a deposit of a deposit of the 5,000 rands, 5,000 was paid. So that you and then out of 10 rands, 10,000. So then, okay, then now we like this because afterwards we shall work in like the accruals, but now it is for us to understand a bit how the methodology, how it works. So now it is important that this big amount you specify that okay, you are supposed to pay 10,000, but since you didn't have the money, so you made an agreement with the reception or the doctor, so you paid at this time 5,000 rands. And then you know that you have an outstanding balance of 5,000 to be paid, maybe in 2 or a week time, according to the agreement that you have with a clinic or hospital. Then, of course, since you maybe are a school, so we can add here training expenses. So then, because we have teachers, or maybe materials to be acquired. So then in here you mentioned that training experience, training expenses. And then and down again you write you specify if you pay cash or the card, or online banking, yeah, or from the banks. So let us put 12,000. And here again 12,000. And then again you specify so amount paid, or let us say for materials, maybe for just put maybe it's a school that you do some crafts, so you went for craft materials. Clear the way it is being done? Hello. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So you are following the thinking or how it is been explained, yes?
Yeah.
For example, when you go to the bank and you withdraw money, yeah? So you it comes from the, let us put, this is a, wait, let us see, bank cash book. So yeah, because it is, have to appear there. So in this account, for example, now you went to withdraw money. So here you credit. What is your credit? The if you go to cash becomes under the debt account. So petty cash because it withdraw. And on this one, on the credit, you write bank account. And then here you in this next section you write withdrawal cost from the bank. No, I didn't put the amount. You see, let us say you withdraw 10,000 rands. It's quite a lot, but anyway, that's an example. And then you have to put a credit of 10,000 rands. So we withdraw another. Now, for example, if you make a mistake, for example, in writing like I did today, right now, you know how to correct the word? Because, for example, because one thing is to come here in the rectangle, and then, for example, if you put like this, you delete everything. But then it gives too much work. Yeah. So then you can go back there. So to correct, you click here and then you go on top, and from there with the arrow either backwards or forward, you can correct the mistake. Are you familiar with Excel books? Maybe some, maybe others not. Yeah. Also myself, I haven't. Okay. Now let me just to recall one thing. Debit, for example, now there's a concept that maybe we need to study well. If maybe, for example, in the next lesson to understand, because there is a difference of debit and credit when it is cash alone and when it is bank. But for example, when you credit in a bank, it means that you the amount the debit increases, the amount there increases, and the debit means it increases. The opposite, yeah. But we shall come a bit more in the next lesson, because also we need to be clear like on this matter. Okay, 14 minutes, yeah, 15. Okay, so I think So let us go just a bit back to see if we are just make a bit of a summary of what we did as of now, because it's not good to do many things at once, but to understand what is important now. So one important thing is that you have to have in mind all the time is to keep recording of any income and expense. You need to have a substantial documentation that helps you to record. For example, now last week I was in our provincial assembly. Okay, or let us say, for example, now we at the end of March, all my confreres were supposed to close the quarter return and produce the quarter return report. Then one or two they found out that the closing, I mean, they were not able to prove to show that everything was okay, so something was missing. So one thing is, for example, nowadays, I think you know, there are different ways of withdrawing money. Okay, one is to go to the bank itself. Other is to go to an ATM, or other is through a shop, like can be Checkers or Pick and Pay. Yeah. So, for example, now some of my colleagues, for example, you know that you're going to Pick and Pay or Checkers or yes. So the fee, the movement fee, or it is less if you draw from the bank. The bank, they don't want you to go there to withdraw money. They prefer that you go either to the ATM or you go to these shops. But of course, the shops, the risk is now becomes theirs. It's no longer the bank. So some of my confreres, for example, they were going to the shop and they wanted to, for example, they bought, let us say, a loaf of bread, and then they wanted to withdraw money. So let us say 3,000. Now, okay, for them, then appears 3,000, let us say 20 rands. Yeah? Now, some of them, they were not, they forgot to justify that they withdraw the money, so it should say that it came from the bank, entered into the petty cash box or the cash book, and then it went out if it made an expense. So if you miss one of these, okay, then either appears that you have money, more money in your account, and you don't know where it came, or you have less because you didn't do the proper transaction. Yeah. So it is important that when you do things immediately, so when you arrive home immediately, or to have a kind of a notebook that we carry with us, and we say that we register. For example, I bought a loaf of bread and I withdrew money, so that when I arrive home, okay, the receipt is there. But maybe sometimes even if one is new as a local bursar, or so that has not had much preparation, so it is quite easy that he forgets to register. And then at the end, he becomes a bit embarrassed because I say, no, what happened? I should, or he says that he has 1,000, and when we do the cash or a bank reconciliation, now we see we have 10,000. We should have 10,000. Now where is the money? Yeah? So that's really important. You keep all the documentation, and then you, for example, like income. So you have the 20,000 and you have the expenses of 1,000, and then to see what the income go. Okay, the first is the date when the description what it was used for, and then if it is income, to write as income, if it is expense, as expense. And then also important is to have the balance, that you know how much money came in, how much money went out, and how much money you have at hand in your cash box. So this is important to be clear on this aspect. Let us see another one. Then we went to this one. So also here, for example, that is maybe more precise, also a bit more elaborated. So we have only one cash book receipt. So in this one, you register only the incomes, if it is cash, or if, for example, also like here I put one cash and one bank. But yeah, it is good that you have, for example, yeah, in the same page on the, we have one for income in cash, another one for expenses or payments in cash, and then also to have one for bank card bank when it is an income, or also when it is an expense. So it is important to have these books and to understand how it works. So always the month, okay, and then the date. Keeping in mind that it is important also to put numbers in the receipts. Okay, some of them, okay, they come from the shop already with a number. But when you put in the file, if you number them, then it helps also, as I said before, for the question of auditing. If someone comes to audit your school or your institution or your convent or seminary or even a diocese, so it's good to have always the things in order, that it helps you. You don't feel ashamed or embarrassed before the person who comes or the people, and also is also for transparency. Yeah? So even though, for example, if you have donors or benefactors, if they want to know how your finances are, so they may ask you, so can we have a look at your files and see if everything is in accordance with what we expected, or even the aim of what the money was sent for. Yeah. So to keep in mind to respect the donator's intention, the donor's intention. Okay, afterwards, and then maybe as time goes, and also you call a bit what are the debtors, how to deal with them, how to do cash control. But now let us today just remain in the simple transactions in cash income or expenses, and also on bank income and expenses. Then the other one. Then also this one this one also helps us to understand the double entry. So it has to appear, the amount has to appear in a debit account and a credit account. So then we saw the question of water, electricity, stationery, telephone, transport, medical, training expenses. When we do the withdrawal from the bank. Also, for example, also we can do also the same in a different way. Yeah, for example, if we make a deposit, so it goes into, if we put money in, it becomes a debit, no, a credit, and to the bank becomes a debit. But we shall now, let us keep now only for today this one, then okay. Are you clear so far? Are you understanding? Now I just going to maybe to introduce you to a different book, maybe that we can be working in the next session, which is called the Ledger book. So it is a bit more detailed. For example, now, you put Ledger book. It is a bank cash book, a summary or checks, or for example, we put checks, but now we could put online banking. But then there is the payee, so the person who received the money, the cashier is. Then if it was a withdrawal, we have to put the amount paid, and then so it was paid from the bank into cash. So it enters as to show that it came out from the bank, and it was given to the petty cash. So the systemary received this amount, and then for example, let us say that maybe you have a dog in your institution or in your school, so therefore also help with security. 2020. Let us say that you so then you paid, let's say, 1,000 rands for a medical, for tablets or for vaccine. So then you have to write, it goes under veterinary 1,000. So it's not that now you are going to write, so only the amount paid as so this one, the amount paid that was 1,000 has to be shown that was paid and under which category. So in this one, so we put the maybe I don't know now the name. Let us put no, I don't remember it because they are. Let us put the name doggy. Okay, let us put. I don't know if it is okay. Maybe it is double G, isn't it? Okay, let's suppose it is the name of the shop. So you put it doggy. Then you put as online if you pay by online, or you can pay. You can say cash or bank. But since we are dealing with the bank, we put online banking or credit card. Then we put the amount 1,000 and not the petty cash because you didn't receive, but it goes under the veterinary. That was the amount spent. Maybe, for example, maybe you needed a car to help in your, for example, to take the students to the hospital or for shopping. So then you bought a vehicle. So then you put, say it is a Toyota. Then okay, let us say that you put you pay through the bank. Not if, so you, let us say you pay 30,000 rands. So it goes under motor vehicle expenses. Now, maybe this one, of course, maybe I should have maybe before going into the numbers. See, there is this one is motor vehicle expenses, and at the end there is a purchase of motor vehicle. So you have to be careful where we want to allocate the money. So it is not motor vehicle expenses because maybe this is for services or small things, small maintenance repairs, but you have to put the money under motor vehicle expenses, right? It has to come on the same line. So you put here 30,000 rands. So I hope I have written in the correct line. Number 1, 2, 3. Now, since we don't just follow like this. Yeah, it is correct. Okay. So it wasn't like this. So just introduction, maybe for the next lesson, we go also a bit to understand. So let's just, so in summary, because here we have the date, you have the payee, then if it is online banking, the amount paid in case you make a withdrawal or you make a deposit, then the petty cash has to show if the money came in and to whom was allocated. If it went out, who was the person depositing the money. Then it can be spent, so the normal voices are veterinary, motor vehicle expenses, purchase of laser, if you have a computer, air tickets, if, for example, you need to make a travel abroad somewhere or even within the country. Then repairs of maintenance, so whatever regards to the maintenance of buildings, painting, and then direct wages is what you pay to the workers. So you, for example, you pay straight, because there's also salaries that it is slightly different. It is when salaries is more when you pay through bank. I mean, they may be paid today, and the money is going to be located maybe in 24 hours, according to the service of the bank. Because if it is within the same bank, you can have it straight away. I mean, it can show even though the money is not there, but they are sure that the money will be there. But if it is if it is from FNB to Standard Bank, it may take 24 hours or a bit more if it is during the weekend. Then, okay, purchase of chicken, maybe if you have a poultry, so you go to the shop, you buy. Then staff medical insurance, so you have to assure that for medical assistance to your staff. Then if you want to advertise your institution, the school, or whatever you feel that it is to attract not only customers, but also maybe you want to know that your school is open to any which grade or what type of qualification of school, so you can make it known. Then suppliers payments and purchase of motor vehicles. Okay, then we shall look a bit more on this book also next session. So we go with not too fast, no, it's not slow, but in the way that we are getting acquainted with the different books. So to understand, for example, of course, now we have the programs, maybe everything that appears. For example, when I went to Kenya for this course, now when I came to Maria Trust, everything was done straight in the computer. But now I understand a bit what is behind. So what is the background? What we see in the computer? Yeah. Also to understand what our predecessors were working and how they were dealing with the finances. Oops. Oh, yeah.
So everyone maybe has the different books and also record different generations. Once again, thank you for joining us today. We just have and our next one will be on the 20th. Hopefully, see you again.
Sorry, Sister Tao, we can't hear you.
We can't hear.
Okay, let me switch on my maybe.
Hello, we can't hear, sister. We can't hear you.
Is it better now? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So we have our closing prayer. In the Father, the Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Prayer for hope. Dear God, please give me hope and assurance that you are always with me, even amidst difficult situations. Help me to trust in your promise and to believe that you are working all things together for our good. Give me the hope, strength to face each day with confidence and faith in you.
Amen.
I pray in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen.
Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, and
Amen.
see you on the 30th of May. God bless. Thank you, and take care.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you, sister. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.